introduction, then it's just not good, healthy for your team environment. So if the introduction of Cly in this Fnatic environment has kind of instilled that everybody kind of trusts each other and is willing to work through the problems, then Daylor, as a functional coach, has a lot of good things to work with.
Yeah, doesn't have to worry about too much. And speaking of wonder, Senkux is
not... Does he have like something on his nose?
Not sure what he's balancing there, but...
he's going to play TF.
Yeah, let's see. And speaking of those, let's just go back to the picks and banjo.
Oh, it was a hand warmer, not a card.
We need some of those.
It's a nose warmer. Don't you hate it when you get on stage and your nose is cold? It's when you get a nose warmer.
If you have a cold, everyone's had it this season. All right, Kog'Maw, Kalista, and the Poppy, and now Fiora banned out. So, double 80 carries versus double top laners.
Yeah, if you look at the contrast from Splyce, Kobe is still looking to find his footing, as opposed to Reckless, who... Yeah, he was the spearhead carry for a lot of these close games that Fnatic has had. You had the Caitlyn game where suddenly he was one-shotting junglers at the end of the game. Then yesterday, Reckless performed again, surviving at the very end on that AD carry. So Kog'Maw's off the table for him. Kalista no longer available either. So we're looking at very high prioritization on Lucian. Could as be as early as first pick here for Splyce.
Might possibly be the case. Another, let's say 80 carry, but of course we've been seeing Quinn top lane, Quinn jungle. Spirit had picked it up and was fairly effective on that as well. The Gangplank is banned away, so Lulu's left up, but no Kog'Maw, of course. See, Nidalee though, calling a top tier pick. You were talking on the desk earlier.
I mean, we could see a repeat of the last draft in game 3 of today. We saw Nidalee first pick into Corki Lucian. And that is obviously a fantastic answer when some of these 80 carries are off the board. It's a little early for Jarvan top. I don't think it's as contested. We'll see. Some hovers to
yeah, they got time.
Confuse your opponent. Oh yeah, steal that Jarvan, or else I'll pick it, says Gamsu.
Okay, the Alistar makes a little bit more sense. I don't expect the vibe, but we will see.
Oh, there was Alistar Lucian actually last game. It wasn't Corki Lucian, so it was Alistar Lucian early and then Corki later, I believe.
And there it is.
Yeah, that's just that's a fantastic pickup. Alistar is the tier 1 support right now, and Lucian with, especially after these bans, tier 1 80 carries. So Fnatic getting 2 tier 1 role picks for 1 debatable, but probably tier 1 jungle pick here. And you take it away from Spirit though. Spirit, Nidalee is kind of right up his alley. It's the same as Trick. It is the preferred style. Both Spirit and Trick like playing this very farm-centric style. So you want champions with very quick clear speed that can also counter jungle. So taking away the Nidalee from Spirit I think is a necessity. But due to the way the bans played out, it does leave 2 very strong champions up for that Swedish duo lane.
Yeah, the Braum is locked in, and you're talking about Alistar being a top-tier support. I feel like Braum he's right below that one. He hasn't been seen as much today. They were opting for Tahm Kench a little bit more likely. But Braum's still very, very powerful. Good disengage. But
Splyce are kind of revealing their hand here. They're looking for a protect the 80 carry comp, or protect the something composition at least, with the amount of utility have. Peel support, Lulu in one of the solo lanes. But who can it be? It almost has to be Caitlyn at this point. It could do well, the Caitlyn Braum lane.
Well, when you ban the Kog'Maw and Kalista yourself, you know, you're kind of already shooting yourself in the foot a bit. I feel like this Lulu's got to go to Wonderwear as well. Putting him on a utility champion, let Senkux be on the more carry role, makes a lot more sense. Unless
we put Senkux on TP Lulu, send him to the side lanes, because that's something I did like about Splyce yesterday. He has been getting way too little mid-game farm, and a way to solve that is to put him on a champion with teleport. It does go against the whole theory of Senkux, who likes to play carry champions, and he does like playing with Ignite, so if you get Lulu on Senkux, he doesn't get punished for running teleport. He still gets the farm he wants, and maybe he can have an impact and maybe even enable Wonderwear, who is traditionally getting all this farm for Splyce.
Yeah, he's usually the one who's picking up on the side lanes. If they swap it around, it could be very effective. The Graves is picked up now for Fnatic. That ought to go to Gamsu, or no, we could see Spirit take it as well. And Febiven has the Victor in the mid lane.
I like the Victor, so it does say that Febiven is expecting Senkux to play this, because Victor is a really good matchup, or just a good matchup into Lulu. You get the push advantage, you don't get punished early. Victor has a little bit of issues sometimes in the early game, but once he gets to that point where he just instantly evaporates the wave, that's what he wants to do. And in the Lulu matchup, he has absolutely no pressure on him.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of ways to push lanes early as well with the Lucian and with the Graves. A lot of explosive power. And you called it earlier, the Caitlyn comes in. They also lock in the Nautilus, so that should be Wonderwear's. And now, boom, you've got a very protect the Caitlyn comp.
Yeah, just like we expected right here. Nautilus in the top lane. Senkux will be playing that Lulu. All he needs to do is change that teleport, that Ignite to a teleport. I never like it. Never liked a single Lulu with Ignite so far. Yes, it may get you a kill early for pressure, but you need that TPA later in the game, especially Splyce when you're struggling so much with your resource allocation.
Splyce is the team that has struggled to find wins across the board. The last time these two met, though, back in week 3, it was a very long, drawn-out affair, and it was Reckless actually running the Caitlyn, laying traps out all across the way and making it very difficult for Splyce to push in until Fnatic ended up taking that win in a very crazy style.
I would actually like to see Graves top here. And then maybe like a CC jungler. But maybe he just wants the Graves duel the Nidalee though. It is one of the champions that if you catch a Nidalee out with smokescreen, you can wreak some havoc. And has a decent clear speed too. And let's not forget, yesterday Maokai was a really strong performance.
Yeah, lock him up and take him down. Gamsu racked up a significant score on that one. We'll see if he's able to do it again. One teleport still so far on either side. There's still time to change it, but not much. Senkux might be going all in on the damage.
So Fnatic's composition, if you're looking at what they want to do with the bigger picture here, is have Spirit not fall behind in the jungle matchup, have the Graves group up somewhere, or if the lane swap situation happen, have a larger impact on minion wave control, and kind of have that aspect down. But the biggest thing is Gamsu will be looking for flanks to get to Kobe. And Splyce have now drafted a composition entirely built around enabling Kobe. And Kobe is an AD carry that we have yet to see impress. I've yet to have a game where I'm like, damn, Kobe did super good. He carried, he straight up murdered everybody.
Well, and it's not like he's not getting good pickups. You know, he's been able to play a number of Lucian games, a number of Corki games. He had that one Kalista game, weren't able to take the win on that one, and other than that, he's been defaulting to Ezreal. I mean, if there's a time to shine, now's got to be it. Yamato is putting his eggs in that basket as he and Daler shake hands to walk off the stage. See who comes out ahead in this one now. Don't forget to tweet your predictions and prophecies. At Ult Esports is the place. Hashtag SpyWin or hashtag FNC win are the votes. We'll see if Splyce can come up with a victory later on in the season, or Fnatic get themselves another one on the board and look closer to breaking into that top 4. See if it happens here as we get ready to load up onto the Rift. I can't wait to see how it works. All the eggs in the basket for Splyce. Fnatic, a lot of fans in the audience as ever. Very popular, very storied esports organization here in Europe as we get ready to go.
Fans seem excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe they all got some of the quality Becks that they sell here. That's actually like a sponsor player. I probably shouldn't do that.
That's okay, you get one.
Sorry, Vito. Don't fire me. Anyways, looking at the composition. We went over what Fnatic wants to do. Splyce on the other hand here. We went over what Splyce wants to do. Actually, we went over both.
Yeah.
My job's done. Take it away, Pirate.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. So here's what we got right now is line of scrimmage. But Fnatic are trying to push it a little bit with Cly. Going in very early. Aggressive Alistar play. Just trying to force them out. I mean, yes, he's not necessarily going to be the most aggressive laner. However, you can do that early on in just throw your weight around and say, oh, you want to catch me? That's fine. I'm still Alistar. You're not going to early kill me. Yeah. And the return of the saplings is wonder where spies out Gamsu.
Now this matchup is really rough though. The Alistar has like one bullet, which is the Q flash, but against an exhaust lane, you're not going to do anything. That's why Fnatic wants to swap here. If you lane Caitlyn Braum into Alistar Lucian, you're probably going to have a bad time on the side of the Lucian. The range advantage in the AD carry matchup just makes it very hard to play. Add to that there's no counter trade potential from any of the supports since both are melee, and extended fight Braum passive is stronger. Fnatic will want to swap. As for the tanks in the top lane, yeah, it's kind of like a wet noodle fight with more push advantage on Wunderwear. So I think the swap is ultimately very beneficial on the side of Fnatic. Because in addition to that, it also slows down Nidalee's advantage here in that jungle pacing game. So Fnatic off to a great start with the swap.
Yeah, good for them. However, Trashy will still definitely have that longer game Nidalee build to fall back onto, as she's been that top tier pick everyone's going. What we used to call the Diamond Proc build, the Rod of Ages, right? It's become just pretty much standard affair now as the double jungle comes in, Wonderwear helping Trashy out to start things off.
Yeah, this should be an incredibly quick double jungle clear, because Nala's base damage on that Riptide is large, and then Nidalee obviously has a fantastic clear.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage onto Febby there, the proc of the Thunderlord's Decree. So yeah. Senkux starting it. I mean, we know he's going to go ham on this one. The Ignite's pretty much the dead giveaway, but Senkux
has to.
The team.
If he's playing,
they need him.
If he's playing Ignite, he has to go for a super hard push early. And when talking to him yesterday, when we had Senkux on the analyst desk as a guest, fantastic guest by the way, he talked a lot about mid lane push and how important he felt it was to the game. So he definitely wants to put his mark on the pressure game here. Really push that mid lane. Fabi is looking to equalize that though, off the initial wave. Yep. Good trade here. Fabi got the shield from the Q. Nullifying that all attack plus pixie damage there.
Alright, we got ourselves a 3v0 push. It looks like Fnatic, obviously, so they started it off a little bit quicker. They were able to get to the turret faster. They should finish it. net effect should probably be the same, but still, this is exactly what they want, to avoid the Caitlyn, avoid the Braum, as you were talking about, and give Reckless some ability to push in the sides. Ooh, Febvin, another chunk of damage, but he's trading even with Senkux.
Some really good Thunderlord proc trading here from Senkux overall.
Very impactful summoner.
If he still has heal.
Patches change though.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of versatility in terms of Keystone, so that's really nice to see. No more 10 Thunderlords overall.
Well, in my dynamic queue games there still are, but fortunately at this level it's different.
Spirit a little lost, path to the right in the jungle, then moved left when that Grump spawned. Wave being bounced here towards Gamsu, so good balance. Tower should go down. No failed lane swap. Let's see what Gamsu wants to do. He does have that ward. Look at the minimap in the lane. Gamsu now has a ward to spot who's coming. Complete mirror here on the side of Splyce too. So both teams actually perfecting the lane swap here. And now it's up to choice. Do you freeze? Do you push? Gamsu going for the push because he expects the enemy bot lane to come. Enemy bot lane would, in theory, zone in off that wave. So why not just push it out, base, and go for the reverse trade where they now group on bottom, hopefully go for a dive. So correct prediction here from Gamsu. Fnatic playing the lane swap to a team. Because now, Splyce has to react and defend a potential 4-man dive in the bottom lane because they don't have any teleport to help that, because the only teleport is in that lane, risk of getting dove.
Yeah. And Kabi just getting free farm up in the top, and obviously, apart from the lane dominance, Caitlyn's not going to be as effective the longer the game goes in the mid, and they're just going to try to fast push this tower up top instead. Yeah,
and because Wunderwear is freezing, the momentum is now on Fnatic, because they're quicker to that tower, they're set up already, they spot the play on the side of Splyce, because they saw Gamsu come down. It's a very trade play, but they're behind on the momentum, because look at Wunderwear. He's stuck in that lane, realized slowly, yeah, okay, they're going to dive me, fine, I'll go base. Now he has to walk top with boots 1 speed, and look how slow he is. Where Gamsu is now already grouped at the tower, this is where Wunderwear would like to be in the top lane, but he's arriving late to the play. So Fnatic with a good understanding of the lane swap. The only downside is a little bit of gold advantage on Trashy, who's choosing to spend his time cleaning a little more camps.
I think it would have been worth for Wunderwear to try and TP up there, save the time. I mean, yes, he blows that, and maybe that opens up the dragon for Fnatic, but is it not worth it?
I mean, it's debatable. You can get a little bit of benefit, but your team's already there. You only dilute experience, so for a team resource point of view, hang on here. You have to postpone that discussion. Splyce completely behind the play. This is an evolution of what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. They're completely lost in this lane swap. Fnatic just push on straight on through on a tier 2 here in the bottom lane.
Oh, trying to force the defense here. Gamsu a little bit low, but he twisted advance to a minute. They still get the tower. Fnatic, oh man, they're controlling that early game.
And lane swaps. This all started with Gamsu realizing that the bot lane was probably going to come and match him, push out the wave base, and put the momentum on the side of Fnatic. And Splyce, they're playing catch-up already, 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, not good for them. Fnatic, been used to having very, very low gold differentials. It's still only 6 minutes in, but they are reversing that trend just a bit. 500K or 500 gold in the lead. 500K would be a lot more than that. And
I'd like to have a lead of 500K.
It would be nice.
A small loan of 500K to close out the game.
For the time being, Fnatic though, I mean, they are making all the right moves, and you know, if they can win in the macro game, they don't need any more crazy comeback fights. We'll see if that starts to turn around. But Febvin, ooh, he's got to be careful. Those pixies are stinging.
Yeah, but they're stinging, but there's no follow-up. So if Febvin has decent vision control, which he actually does not have right now, but if he plays careful enough and he dodges the spears, he will never be killed. Wu will never, or should never be allowed to 1v1 all in. And if you look at the farm, it is bang on even.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to kill a Victor. I learned that last year watching Kuro, actually.
Fantastic Victor
part of that
player.
him, but yes, Victor is a very, very hard champion to kill, and especially when you're Lulu, you know, lost a lot of bullying potential way back in the day. Still with that Ignite, Senkux hasn't really used it to try to go for the all-in, but
and look at Reckless.
Either.
This wave management from Fnatic. Push in to tier 2. Guess what? If you push it in, it'll bounce back. Come to Papa, says Reckless, equalizing the farm here. So even though Fnatic spent the large majority of the time group, their CS numbers are actually pretty even across the board. Just in the jungle is where the difference is. Trashy will need to use that farm advantage to create a play, to create some pressure, because that's what Nidalee does. While everybody's doing something, she's busy farming, and then she needs to get a lead, use that lead to translate, hopefully, to get somebody else ahead.
Yeah, so the only thing Splyce were really able to do off of that was take that dragon, so that will help the 6% AD and AP increase. We have been seeing a slightly increased preference to start taking dragons as an objective versus the Rift Trail, and oh, Spirit.
Painfully slow, trying to clear that ward.
Shotguns are not effective, and now Gamsu and Wunderwear, the wet noodle fight continues. But also Wunderwear, he's the one who's got that Thunderlord, so he is dealing a bit more damage, but Gamsu still, he's going to be a big tree by this game's end for sure. the small golem. Now Splyce just trying to clear out their own jungle. We're not really getting all that else done on the map with the wave pushing against them in the top and in the bottom. Fnatic still looking to try and push this one forward, and it's going to be Wonderware to react to it.
Still though, Thunderlords on Nautilus top lane seems a bit of a waste to me. I mean, yes, you rely on good base damages, but you're not a burst. Your job is to tank. So Wonderware going for some damage here, but already behind in the lane swap.
Yeah.
How useful would that summoner be? Would the Strength of Ages not been a little bit better? One can wonder.
I mean, there's something to do the same thing he's had to do every game. He's got company this time. Nisbeth is joining him in his bottom side to try to defend Reckless and Clyde. But this has been Wonderware's job, all split for Splyce. Sit in the side lanes, absorb all of that gold, but then he just doesn't get anything done with it.
Yeah, it's his job, or his duty, but he's not translating that gold into damage. He's one of the largest percent gold recipients. There's only maybe a handful of players in all leagues really that get more percent gold from his team than Wonderware, but then you're looking at the elite carries over in Korea, and if there's one thing you can say from Wonderware, it's not, I mean, with all due respect, he's not been an elite carry in this team. Senkux has carried. He's involved in 80 to 90% of their kills, so they want to enable Senkux, but they weren't giving him any farm. It was a bit of a conundrum right there. Right now they put him on utility champion, so you'd expect some more damage coming out from Wonderware, but now all the eggs are going into Cobby basket. Can they enable Cobby?
This goes back to Splyce really trying to find their identity. In Challenger, it was a little bit different, right? They relied on the 5th Dragon, different time, different meta. But Wonderware also stepped up a lot more at that time. Perhaps it's just the difference in the European LCS top laners compared to the Challenger of last year, but they just have not been able to adapt on the whole very well against most of the teams in the split. They've really only taken out the teams directly below them, and not even consistently.
Yeah, and Fnatic is one of those teams that is closer. Let's not forget, Fnatic is no longer the top tier team that we are used to seeing.
True.
They are a 5th place team right now. So if Splyce want to get out of that zone in the bottom, they will need to take teams off that are games off teams that are right above them. Fnatic is one of them.
Yeah. Well, and by the same token, on the flip side, Fnatic, you know, you could say, oh yeah, they need to win every game as Senkux gets stuck in the Chaos Storm. Not enough damage to take him out, though.
Yeah, not an exciting mid lane matchup I hear overall.
I was excited about, oh, it's a Lulu. Never mind.
It's a Lulu victor, yeah.
Fnatic do need to, like, they especially need to win the games that are, you know, easier for them, because they need to then pad as much as they can so they can try to break into that top 4, try to get better placement for playoffs, you know, try to contend. Even if they're looking at the long game, it still helps early on.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking to do right here, though. Initial force of the Senkux to get the minion wave pushing. And when that next wave comes in and Senkux can't instantly clear it, Fnatic get half that HP of the tower right here. Good move here. So Feven using the ultimate on Senkux, but also on the minion wave, evaporating that, putting him back pressure-wise. Suddenly the remaining Fnatic members filter in and they siege down half that tower. So really good grouping. Fnatic is playing as a team right now.
Yeah, Wonderware was trying to get his foot push on, but as you said, Nautilus, a very strange pick to try and be doing more damage. And he's just stopped short by Gamsu. There's no way he's getting through the tree. The roots are just dug too deep at the moment. Splyce, 11.5 minutes into this game, they're only down by about 300 gold, but they're just not able to get objectives around the map, and you can see the slight difference in how they fell behind. First Dragon will help, but when Fnatic is not allowing you to fight on your game, it won't do that much.
Yeah. But the questionable point for both these teams from yesterday hasn't been hit yet. It's the mid game. It's when you're looking at some towers are down on the map. The gold is relatively even. But both teams are looking at a way to close out the game, which is in this meta game, Baron. And how to set that up is a vision. If you need to be tutored on that, watch H2K play. Fantastic approach to the vision game. But both these teams, both Splyce and Fnatic, were utterly lacking in that component yesterday. Let's see if they've watched the VOD, if they've learned from it, if they can improve. Right now, though, Splyce looking for an aggressive move here. Zoning Febiven with the threat of a dive. They want to siege down tier 1 in mid.
Yeah, Febiven knew what was up. He backed away before they could do anything else, but Senkux trying to push there. A lot of Splyce members looking to collapse down the map. And Gamsu's already backing away, but Splyce knows that they can't get much off of this, and the tower won't take much more than a few scratches.
Yeah, they took control of the jungle in the top side, so they'll see Reckless rotating over if he comes. Gamsu now pushing that wave in, so Wonderware is on wave clear duty.
Yet again.
He always had teleport available though. Febiven really good, leaning to the right side of that lane, just putting enough pressure that he doesn't get power.
Depth charge, Gamsu's knocked up. Trashy sends the spear out, gets red buff, and Gamsu would not be able to 1v2 this one, healing as he is with the Maelstrom on. It's going to be first blood, and it goes to Trashy.
Yeah, and this is where you have to question what Gamsu was doing that far pushed up. His wave was in the tower, his mission was over. He did not have the necessary vision to play that risky game, and more importantly, if you do that, you have to have something on the other side of the map. this is the first instance where Fnatic was not playing as a team. If Gamsu dies there, it should come at a cost overall where Fnatic takes a top lane tower or really deep vision control, but they're doing neither right now, and they lose a lot of the pressure here. 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, this is going to allow Splyce to get back into it. You know, these guys just so hungry for a win on the board. They've only been able to pick up 3 this entire split long. And, you know, they said at the very beginning of it, this was the goal with playoffs. Obviously, that's got to change a little bit at this point, but Splyce able to take advantage of the Fnatic mistake.
Ooh, Wonderware here in the top lane. The teleport. Yeah. That means Cobb is in the bot lane, so if Splyce can hold this, in 30 seconds, they can have Cobb siege on tier 2 bot. Fnatic can break it open though. There's no teleport available. 80 carries obviously don't carry teleport. No siege for Fnatic. And Splyce is looking for a rotation to that bot tier 2 here. They want to hold mid here and see if they can look for Kabe. That's why Fnatic is now aggressively moving to the right side of the map. They really want to cut that off and put Kabe on an island. Dragon's also part of that equation.
Yeah, things are flying. Kabe knew what was up as he goes back around the outside of the Dragon pit. Dragon started by 3 Fnatic members here. Let's see if Splyce look to collapse.
They have the push.
Out a bit.
They have the push in mid lane, which means they have the first reaction to this play.
Skull Crab, half health. Spirit and Reckless can take this oh so fast, but Trashy, he's looking for a steal. Goes in, gets the spine, nice steal away. Now the fight is on, or is it? No, they slip away, and Fnatic can't get much done. Gamsu a little bit low in this top versus Wonderware, 1 level difference.
Yeah, steal and disengage, and more importantly, Gamsu can't teleport because Wonderware always has 1 CC available with that depth charge here, and because he has 40 CS up, he can actually bully this matchup incredibly hard. Whoever is slightly ahead in the matchup will win the trades because repetitive trades here. Febiven.
A little bit of damage there. The Ignite was on. Tower burn they've got from the second Dragon here. Cly and Spirit are going to try to defend. They will be able to blow it away. Spirit had to utilize the Graves ult. Yeah. Collateral damage just to finish off that wave and deter any more pressure, but Splyce now, power move in the mid lane.
Yeah, and this all started with Gamsu getting picked off at the bottom. Suddenly, Fnatic played the map with 4. They can't put any pressure anywhere. Kobe puts the side lane pressure in the bottom lane. Top lane, Wonderware can 1v1 trade against Gamsu. That means the remaining part is 4v4, and then a fantastic steal from Trashy here into a siege mid. Splyce, they're learning how to play this game here against one of the weaker resisting teams in the mid game, Fnatic here. Yeah, pretty impressed though what Splyce put together there.
Yeah, you can take advantage of your opponent's weakness in the mid game. You can definitely come out ahead there. They found themselves close on to a 2,000 gold advantage. 3 towers, 2 dragons to the 3 towers only of Fnatic. And now with all the outers taken out, the map is just a little bit more opened up. We'll see how these teams do play that vision game. Obviously, it's not been nearly as clean as the likes of H2K, Vitality, any of those top teams, but you said Splyce is learning. Let's see if they can learn that lesson too. Yeah,
and look at the build from Senko. It's very push-oriented. The Athenes first, not going for the classic Rod of Ages, a little more scaling-oriented. He just wants to get early magic resistance for the trades against the Victor. Having repetitive mana regen, or repetitive pushes there with mana regen, obviously backing that up, just pushing in Febiven constantly, hoping that when they group, they can put pressure on him.
Spirit doesn't connect onto Cly. Spirit and him are still hanging around. Nisbeth and Trashy doing the same, and the River just trying to keep the vision control up themselves. Senkuk's pushing the wave back, and half health on that mid tower, but Fnatic are not threatening to push there. They're threatening an invade into the jungle, looking for picks if they can. Kabe's already out of town, though. Yeah,
Fnatic's constantly playing away from the lane that Wonderware's on. Wonderware is obviously ahead of Gamsu, so what Splyce want to do is use that pressure, push in 1 wave, rotate to wherever Wonderware is, and get that tower. Fnatic, they're playing on the other side of the map, pushing waves, seeing if they can keep Kobe down. Looking to take a Rift Herald for their time here. Not much else they can do. Not too many objectives on the map, a lot of towers down. Yeah. Really hard to open up that mid lane tower against the Lulu mid.
It'll be hard to open up the top as well, even against Kabe. Caitlyn's still not the most effective mid-game champion, but she definitely doesn't lack for wave clear. Even against the mini Baron empowerment, they don't really get any extra health stats. It's just the auto attack speed boost that they get. Now, Senkuk takes a lot of damage from the Chaos Storm and the Death Ray, but he whimsies out of there. Nisbeth was at his back anyways. Fnatic going to try to push on this mid. Let's see if they can get it. But Splyce are threatening for.
Yeah, Cly is zoning.
Oh, Nisbeth. Oh, that's a lot of damage for it. Throws down the Unbreakable. There is the Glacial Fissure looking for Reckless. They pull him in, and now Cly headbutts away. Wonderware just trying to do all the damage he can, and he manages to anchor him down. Spirit now flashing forward. Wonderware's doing a whole ton of damage. Gamsu's going down. They isolated him from the pack, and all of a sudden, it's a 3-for-0 in favor of Splyce.
Yeah, Fnatic in their attempt to zone the wave clear off of mid lane, they find themselves exposed to a double pincer. Complete collapse here from Fnatic, and Wonderware, if I criticize him, I gotta give him props too. He played that fight perfectly. Dredgeline onto Reckless, connects his Depth Charge ultimate, Riptide base damage, then auto attacks and gets the auto attack reset by using Nautilus W for a perfect combo into just a bit of damage here. Just watch what he does to Reckless in the top side of the screen. Meanwhile, let's figure out what happened at the bottom. Nisbeth, perfect draw multi. 3 people while soaking up damage, while soaking up stuff from Spirit. Here we see the Nautilus of Reckless here overall, and Senkux comes in and turns around the fight around in the bottom side. Wonderware kills 2 people while soaking up damage from 2 more, keeping essentially 4 members of Fnatic busy. He is finally being utilized with the farm he has. He's finally put into motion and being enabled in his team, and that's finally what we want to see from Splyce.
Yeah, and he's going to keep on trying to push out the side lanes. If that builds any indication, he goes ahead and gets himself a Zerat. So now he's thinking with portals. We'll see if he's able to push harder onto Gamsu.
Yeah, adding another dimension to that push here. Meanwhile, Gamsu, he's stuck with that Rod of Ages that he's building up. Not even completely filled up, so not only is Gamsu behind in terms of power, kills, CS, he also has a scaling build right now.
Well, this is super worrying for Fnatic, and not just because they lost that engage. You look at what Gamsu was trying to do there to try and protect. They just pretty much bypassed him. Clyde couldn't tank up as much as he can. We talk about Alistar's situational tankiness.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to hold the line.
Nautilus throws his anchor in the air and he just doesn't care. Like, he just will ignore you. Dredgeline goes on the first target hit, but the depth charge goes on your target. Like, no matter where he runs, he will get knocked up, and then he will get engaged upon. So, very hard to play against a Nautilus that is ahead of the curve. Very easy if he's behind, because he offers so little, but if he can snowball and get ahead, very hard to deal with for AD carries.
We saw that yesterday against Fnatic's opponent, but this time it has actually turned out much better. You take a look at that difference in the jungle farm as well. Trashy, the early game impact, well, he turned it into a mid game one as well.
Oh, Reckless here. Look at the damage.
Damage Wonder has got to back away. There was a tree at his back, but he nearly ate it.
That was the combo though. He doesn't have much else. He has an auto attack reset on W and then a depth charge, so he doesn't want to commit because Splyce is sieging in the top lane.
And they get tower.
We have to really give props to Splyce, because every issue that we highlighted with them, which there were a lot of, well, Senkix wasn't getting farm in the mid game. They put him on a utility champ, so it doesn't really matter if that's the case. Wonderware wasn't being enabled. He's enabled this game, and more importantly, Trashy was one of the lowest percent income junglers. He's now suddenly put on a farm champion that he can pace, and he's putting Spirit on a farm deficit. Spirit is the jungler in the LCS with the most average CS from jungle camps in the entire league. So on average, Spirit is farming so much jungle, and right now he can't because he's just getting out jungled by Trashy. So stylistically, Splyce are making some great choices.
Well, they're just starting to roll forward with the extra siege they've got. They push down more towers. They get themselves a gold lead even further. It's about 6,000 ahead. We're only 20 minutes on the mark. That's still pretty massive. We talk about Fnatic's deficits. Well, it's coming true once again.
Maybe that's the strategy, Pyra.
Yeah, well, you can't keep relying on it. Eventually, it's got to backfire, right?
We only win when we're down to 5K.
It's just, it boggles the mind sometimes. Splyce, though, I mean, they are learning these lessons, and it is not a moment too soon. See if they can keep this one up. I definitely have some hope for this squad as they're starting to utilize different tools. It used to be feed, Senkux, or bust, but it's not the case this game.
Yeah, and this will likely lead to another Jiffy from Yamato Kana when he nods in approval. Splyce taking victory.
I wonder if he's, I didn't see if he was wearing the turtleneck today. We used to have a tally about that.
He always wears the turtleneck.
Really? He's a very fashionable man. I know that for sure. But Splyce.
He's a little young for you, isn't he, Pyra?
Yeah, all right, fine. Just wanted to express my opinion. Splyce now push on this bottom side. Spirit's going to tank up the ace and all. Caitlyn's still not going to be able to do that much damage in the fights, but they really haven't needed Kabi to do this, despite the protect the ADC comp. I mean, Wonderware's coming out with so much damage. The Thunderlords, you can start to see why it's a little bit more effective now. Senkux has been able to dish out a surprising amount of damage, looking like the old bully Lulu.
Yeah, I wonder what Kabi's going to do here. He goes for the Renounce approach to Caitlyn that Reckless did. Would be very ironic to beat Fnatic with a protect Caitlyn comp with Lulu in there. It's a little early for Baron. Let's not skip the steps here. Splyce. Flank here from Wonderware. No home guards.
Oh, they see it, and he is looking to come in. Klein might be the target. It's the easiest. No, he lands the hook onto Reckless, and a whole lot of damage knocks him up with the ultimate depth charge, and now Reckless stays alive just barely long enough. Use the culling. Kabi picks up Fly, though, in the back, and Wonderware is still going strong. Wild growth on him as Trashy gets locked up by Gamsu. That anchor does not connect, but Gamsu might be going down anyways, and that's a double kill over to Kabi.
Yeah, the last one was a zoning anchor. Wonderware 3 for 3 on anchor tosses onto Reckless. Fantastic so far.
Zoom in slowly.
Nah, he's in.
He's in the zone.
He's in the zone. He's just respecting the Daylor next to him. But just gotta talk about Wonderwear. Holy moly, what happened, man? What did we give him for breakfast? Completely connecting every single dredge line right there onto Reckless. This is the third time Reckless has been caught out. Snared, Riptide into ultimate, but right now, Splyce is dropping low.
Oh, instantly onto Febiven. Very low health bars here, though. They couldn't quite grab themselves that Baron, and that line of traps, the Caitlyn coming in handy yet again.
That's exactly what they're for, the zone control. Traps, such a strong spell. Kobe putting 4 points into traps right here. Not taking the Forgiven approach, where he skills traps at level 12. The latest right here is when the game forces you to buy or to skill traps, that's when Forgiven skills traps. Kobe saying, no, we're going for a siege approach, where we just have as many as we can, with as much utility. Building it up. I like it on Caitlyn. I think it's just a very strong ability to store him up. Let's see that again. Wonderwear, just keep your eyes on him. He's going to connect the Q onto Reckless again on max range. And Kai, even as he's Alistar, he will still drop here before Wonderwear drops. Just a fantastic, synergy here, because Nisbet comes in, tanks the majority of the culling, and then disengages without dying. Now the Lulu ultimate gets popped into Wonderwear. We'll excuse him for that red line, and then Gamsu drops, and Splyce is working as a team to great benefit.
Well, even better than that, too. Kabi picks up the 2 kills. It starts to accelerate his growth as the Caitlyn. He's on 2 items, still working towards his 3rd. And, you know, that late game Caitlyn will come into effect even earlier. Now he's able to start pushing solo on the bottom. Splyce not far behind to defend it.
Yeah, and Gamsu has yet to find a flank. 0-3 right now, 0-3-0. Look at the line of traps here, the zone. They need to find an opening with a flank, but there are no wards behind Splyce. That little ward in your minimap, if you look at the zone, that has to be a blue ward. Yes, it is. So there's no flank for Gamsu. There is perfect siege, line of traps, niddly traps, disengage from Lulu, and a max range Caitlyn. There is so little Fnatic can do. They need to look at the cross map right here.
Yeah, still sticking 4 members together here to try and defend in mass, but they leave their bottom side completely undefended. Fnatic are losing turrets. They're starting to hemorrhage gold away, and it's close to 10,000 in the lead for Splyce right now. Those 3 dragons, too. Dragon 5 starts to become a real possibility. If they're able to secure that next one, Spirit takes a big chunk of damage as the Zerat portal is still defended here.
Yeah,
it's hard for Fnatic to push back from this one.
And this team side is so problematic right now because Gamsu, he can maybe soak up a 1/3 of the damage that Wunder can, and when Wunder goes low, Senkuk just enables him. Surprisingly so, the ignite pressure or the matchup or how Senkuk played it, he was in continuous pressure in that mid lane despite Victor being a good matchup into Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 2.5, 3,000 difference in gold between those two in the top lane right now. And Gamsu, you can see it in the items, he has no armor right now, so Kabi is going to start shredding through him. It's just a rough game for Fnatic across the board. We've seen them fall behind against stronger opponents, but now they're doing it against weaker ones as well.
Yeah, but Fnatic has come back. And every time we've counted them out in similar games, they found an opening. And most of the teams allow Fnatic to come back by not doing their Baron setup correctly. And this is the theme of the day. Let's see if Splyce have learned. It's still very hard to break open the base against a late game or mid game Victor who starts one-shotting these waves. He is sitting on 260 CS, like 10 CS a minute here on Febiven almost, so can Splyce play the Baron game correctly, or are they just going to take the easy approach out and just go for 5 dragons?
Fnatic's going to be able to solo this one for the time being while the rest of Splyce are trying to push up the mid. That Zerat portal is about to come off cooldown, should be able to get their push on, but it will be difficult, as you said, to crack the base still. Right now, Reckless is in the top, Gamsu's in the bottom, Ace in the hole, tried to deter the Victor a little bit here. Spirits, though, going to arrive to help defend this one. Let's see what comes of this push.
Yeah, I like that Nisbet went for the upgrade here on the Sightstone with 4 wards. I have the Equinox. It just gives you a little more vision, and right now you don't need more defensive stats, you don't need more strength or power, you just need vision. You just need vision and vision denial there. 2 sweepers upgraded, 2 blue trinkets and a yellow. This is almost the perfect combination for Splyce, so seem to really understand what their setup is. Can they execute it though?
That's been a question we've asked of them quite a lot this split, but it's looking a lot better for them this game. And Fnatic are going to keep on groupings, trying to stick it out together still. You got to wonder if Wonderwear is able to get in there with the dredge line and then just instantly pop up everybody on the ult and the Riptide.
Yeah, Wonder's placed his
Grippy's not always great.
Zerat in the top lane. He's going to push out now. He has the Banner of Command finished too. But more importantly, he has, in addition to that, he has the Sunfire already. Usually if you see Zerat Banner, you're weak in fights, but using the Sunfire early to get more combat stats has allowed him to really take control of that 1v1 against Gamsu, then join the fights and not die instantly. So really efficient split push Nautilus build. But now he can just set up the wave push in the side lane, peel off, and join his team.
Fnatic just keep getting dragged across the map. Another ace in the hole, just continuing to try and zone back. Reckless took that one. Wonder we're able to clear some wards out. Yeah, and you can see this vision control. I mean, it's easy when you're up. It's
melting right now. Fnatic had good control of the Baron area because of the double push, top and mid. Wonderware moves in. He has the yellow trinket too, so he can get his own safety vision that prevents Nisbeth from having to walk all the way around to protect him. And now we see Kabe.
Yep. Oh, Clyde, more damage. Kabe staying nice and safe. Fnatic just trying to bait into the brush, but starting to lose up in the top side. They've sent Gamsu down to the bottom. Teleports, of course, still available for both these top laners, but I don't think Fnatic are too keen on taking another fight. Lots and lots of vision control around this Baron. Splyce definitely want to bait it. 28 minutes on the clock here. Still, they tried to make a few rash moves. It almost backfired on them. I don't expect them to start this one just yet. Just keeping the vision clean. Keep it all in the dark on this side of the map and force Fnatic to come to you. Make them make mistakes. Splyce going back to this mid lane to try and push it out. If they can win this one, it will be very, very big for them to try and push their way outside of that bottom four that we talk about so often. That's pretty much become the norm here in Europe.
Yes, Beth. Warding. Ward wars has started. The game where support matters.
Support always matters. You know that better than anyone.
Yeah,
they're gonna go out. It's spotted though instantly. I mean,
yeah, that's one blue. It's like you take one down, you pass it around. 2 more blue trinkets on the wall. That's the problem with Baron control right now. It is a very tedious and lengthy process that you have to repeat over and over and over. Unless you just rush it and you say like, let's flip the coin, guys. 60-40. Weird coin, you know, one of the curved coins. But
I wouldn't like to play with one of those unless you got the 60 side for sure.
Splyce have the 80 side at this point.
There's still 20% chance of Fnatic coming back. We keep talking about these crazy moves they're able to pull, but right now, they're trying to keep edging their advantages. Clyde just keeps eating these spears as Wonderware on the bottom side continues to push. He's got the Zerat. He's got the Banner of Command.
They got him down, Tyra. 3 for 3.
Yeah, he's zoned out for the time being, but there's still Spirit in the area. We'd have to go for the steal. This Baron has been started down to 9,000 health. It's pinked by Fnatic. They know what's happening.
Wonderware is basing right now. He wants to get the Home Guards proc, so if a contest happens, he's going to TP in, flank with Home Guards. Look, that's what Splyce is looking for. They're pulling the trigger a little early.
Oh boy, he's gonna run right into them, and there's a teleport coming in. Oh, he doesn't quite get the anchor connected. Clyde gets a massive 4-man knockup. Wonderware still trying to tank it out. Should be able to last longer. Let's go on. There's the Wild Growth. Senkok's flashed out of the fight. Kabe gets the kill onto the cow, and now they have to get out. 1 for 0. Not what they were looking for.
Yeah, Splyce pulling the trigger a little early. You want Fnatic to use their teleport first, engage the fight, get poked, and then have to run into Wonderware. What ended up happening was, for a very large part of the fight, they had sole focus on Wonderware, but because Splyce is so far ahead, they go for the re-engage, but suddenly now Spirit is in range with Smite, with Ultimate, and Splyce, their elaborate setup, vision, baiting, 3 blue trinkets, 1 early engage, slightly misplayed fight, and it all comes crumbling down, and suddenly Fnatic is hanging on in this game.
Yeah. Once again, however, they've got to respond to these bottom and top waves that were crashing against them. They send the Victor up to the top side, and the bottom pretty much gets defended on its own courtesy of the tower, but
I mean,
Splyce aren't able to do much off of that. 8-0 in kills this game. They're 10k in the lead, but they just couldn't force the issue because they got impatient.
I'm a little upset here. I'll tell you why. Kabe just finished the QSS, and yeah, I get it. Mercurial is a really good like 3rd item with lifesteal, but he's never been under threat in any of these fights. Why would you even need a QSS? The only thing you want to get rid of is the snare from Maokai, but you're playing with so much frontline. The composition is built entirely around enabling this Caitlyn pick. We'll get into that again as we see it. Line of traps. They can wait for Fnatic to walk on these traps. Look, they're bypassing their own zone by forcing the fight. And now Wonderware comes in. Really good gravity field here from Feven, I guess, keeps people out. And Clyde doing a fantastic job healing, but yeah, Splyce had so much potential, and they lost a lot, and there we have to kind of criticize them. Fnatic, fantastic job holding on, but in a Caitlyn composition with Lulu, a Fed Nautilus, Lily jungle, please just build damage.
Fnatic doing what they do best this game, though, they're really forcing the mistakes this time around. The Zerat portal comes out once again. Spirit dodges neatly away from the Nautilus hook.
Yeah, Turbo Caitlyn coming out, that's what you want. Remember, Dragon 5 is approaching, and it's a lot easier for Splyce to just get control of the zone and burn Dragon down. Fnatic have to face take blind. That's what we're looking at.
They do have the Stellar Crab control, so nice bit of foresight by them, but they've got to respond to this top side. Now the fight is going to start. Spirit is the one who gets caught, and he's
Wonderwear.
Evaporated now. Wonderwear with the serious damage as Fly tries to force them all away, but Nisbeth is there doing the same. Reckless, he's not going to last much longer. Trashy gets the spree kill for that one. Agamsu's knocked up. Fevovin's running away. Everyone's starting to melt. Ace in the hole. Double kill for Kabi, and that is going to be an ace. A triple kill for the Caitlyn. Splyce on the move.
Yeah, and all set up due to the threat of the 5th dragon. Finally paying off for Splyce. Baron was too complex for them, but they take full control of the dragon area. Fnatic know they have to enter, and Wonderwear, MVP of this match for sure. Completely turn it around. Another pick off. Finds Reckless with the snare. So much damage coming out of this Nautilus. Fantastic performance.
They end the game without losing a man. Losing 4 turrets, but that doesn't really matter too much. As close to a perfect game as Splyce has played this split. Still some mistakes, but they are learning, and they have just upset Fnatic. You've got to be pumped about a win like that. Still a lot to learn, though.
Yeah, Splyce, baby. They finally take the game here. That has to feel good, and you could see it, how happy they were. Fnatic. Questions? Yeah, very little answers. Splyce played their team composition really well. I just like, when we highlight these bigger picture issues stylistically with some teams, whether it's farm distribution, champion picks, and they all seem to kind of solve it in one game, it just really makes me happy, because this is what Splyce has been waiting for, and Yamato has to be happy because they keep going on how they want to play in a certain macro-oriented style, play the correct way of League of Legends,
right? And
then it finally comes together. And from talking to Senkooks, they have been playing very well with some of these picks and scrims, and it finally translated on stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's late in the split for it to happen, but a win is a win, and a very clean win for the most part, able to keep those waves pushed, able to keep Fnatic on the back foot as Daler kind of talks it out with Cly at the end of it all, but big smiles on those faces of the Splyce members, and they absolutely deserve it.
And you were right, Pyra. Turtleneck is there again.
It's another win. I haven't been tracking the stat, but maybe Spells will tell me a little bit later.
The turtleneck versus win ratio.
It's got to be close to 100%. I mean, that.
No turtleneck on Daler. It kind of confirms it. That's right true. There. That's how stats work, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly like we're cherry picking anything, right?
No.
For Fnatic, though, definitely a lot to work on. Some communication issues, as we've seen before, even with Cly coming into this roster, and of course some up and down performances. Yesterday the Maokai for Gamsu was fantastic. This game, completely different. I mean, his bark was much worse than his bite, and that's not a good thing.
No, but they started off so well with that fast lane swap. I mean, the point where Gamsu pushes in the wave goes about the momentum all on the side of Fnatic there, taking an extra tier 2 tower, but then Trashy, yeah, he kind of bought into the early game by just farm, played a good Nidalee, and it's really good to see Trashy ahead in CS for once. It's so good to see Wonderwear use his CS for once. It's so good to see Senkooks get help from his team. Yeah, it was good for Splyce.
It was absolutely great. So now we're going to go ahead and send it side stage where Quickshot is